Welcome to the Red Raider Coach Show. I'm your host, Shane Bennett. I'm here with Coach Cofer, and we're going to talk not a little, probably a lot about last week and the game and how it went down. Coach, first of all, there was a lot of folks limping Friday. Had a lot of questions about, health of some of the players and stuff. I want to jump right in that because I know that was probably the prominent question I had from everybody was injuries.
Right. I got a few texts today wondering about Jacob Cofer and Dalton Allman and some of those guys. And it's Payson was kind of scary to me, the way he came off the field after he got hit. By the time he turned around on a screen pass, that guy hit him. Payson actually ran him over, but he took the brunt of the punishment right there. So he's got a strained neck. Payson was in full gear this morning. Don't know if he'll play. If he continues like it is another day or two, he won't play Friday. We'll just keep him out. Jacob Cofer is out. He doesn't think he's out, but I'm going to say he's out just to keep him safe right there. He's got to get an MRI the next. We thought we could get it today. Evidently it couldn't happen. So maybe the next day or two we can get that done. But, he's pretty beat up on the shoulders too. One's feeling better, but the other one started hurting him too. But he doesn't even know when he did it. Couldn't tell you. I asked him if he got hit. He planted wrong. He said he went and sat on the bench. When he got up, it started bothered him a little bit. He stood beside us, and then he started going out when we went to the horseman package. And I saw him limping, so I brought him back. He never went back on the field. So knee was pretty swollen. And then Dalton Allman right there at the end of the game, but Dalton's moving around fine, worked out with us today, practiced today, so he's good. Just got hit in the back and, laid motionless there for about a minute and got kind of scary, but he was moving everything, went to notify mom and dad about that. So he's fine. He'll play Friday. But like I said, don't know about Payson, don't know about Jacob, but when those two went down, it kind of changed the game plan in the second half. And then you're talking about Aubrey Carter also. Aubrey got hit. The knucklehead has got to go out of bounds sometimes. I've told him he's proven his manhood to me, but he's got to go out of bounds instead of a yard before out of bounds, lowering his shoulder on somebody. But on the pass, got hit on the elbow, had a little scratch right there, and then hit a little nerve, and he couldn't grip the football. So that's why we kept him out. And, you got a lead right there at halftime. You just want to kind of play a little bit safe. I yell at the TV all the time about people that play it safe in the second half after they got a lead. Just don't keep playing. But when we're down some of those players, and they also are playing on defense, you can't go as fast. They just took a little bit of our steam out right there, so we had to change the game plan just a little bit. Drell never came back out.
Well, I know. I saw Payson in the locker room. He was pretty stiff moving. He couldn't hardly move his neck around.
Yeah, that's just right now. He couldn't do it, So he looks like a robot doing all this. We make fun of him, but he's good. So hopefully he'll get loose enough to play.
All right, we jumped right over, but I still want to give you time to give a shout out for church and what they did for you Friday.
Yeah, the church I've been attending with Pastor Tony Crosby, Alma United Methodist Church, fed us in the afternoon right there, had a great meal, and Tony got to speak to us. So Pastor Tony, we appreciate you speaking to those guys. And First Baptist Church guys over there that cook us breakfast each and every morning, we appreciate them too. And it's huge, just to eat like that on a morning, and just kind of makes our day complete. I also wanted to give a shout out to our softball girls. I don't know if you were going to do it or not, but the Region Champ softball girls 2014. Region champs, just very proud of them, and had a lot of close one-run games. Very proud of you girls, and they got acknowledged this past Friday night with a wreck. So,
yeah, this week or the prior week leading up to this week, you come off a big win with Long coming into this game with Brown. Was anything different? How were the boys as far as we had those couple of games starting off the season that were kind of tough, and we win big against Long, and then come into Brown.
Well, I think the analogy kind of worked a little bit, to tell you the truth, the past couple of games. Scheduling K-Row, somebody that strong that's it's in 4A and ranked in the top 10 at the beginning has helped us. Playing Benedictine without about 5 kids helped us, these last 2 games. And the Charlton game, playing tough with Charlton. And I think Charlton played their best game against us the whole year, more than they have anybody else. I don't know what it was, but they did. Just a different football team. But I think it's helped us these past 2. When you play a higher level competition right there, it helps you in any game that you play right there. We were definitely worried about Bryan County. We worried about everybody we play. We worried about Long. We worried about everybody. We worried about Jeff Davis this Friday. I get nervous no matter who it is. I don't care if they're #1 in the state or what. I definitely get the same kind of nervous. We just want to be prepared and stuff like that. I'll go ahead and tell you, we probably had our worst practice of the year. That includes the summer, spring. It was bad this morning. We didn't get a whole lot done. We had a little gut check at the end of practice right there. There was some defensive stuff that went very well, but we didn't come ready to practice today. And I don't know if it's has to do with winning those 2 games and then having a little success, and then you're just on something right there, and think somebody owes you something. I don't know, but hopefully we'll get that tomorrow. By the time we left, they understood what we needed to do. And, usually when you have a bad practice like that, it comes back and it's pretty good the next day. So I'm hoping so. I hope we have, especially the next 2 days, have good practices those days. But it was not very good today. So sometimes we end up doing better the next couple of days. But typical, even maybe worse, Monday practice this morning. So hopefully we'll get it together.
All right, Chris, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back and dig into the Bryan County game a little bit. But we want to give a shout out to Bennett and Johnson, sponsors that make this possible, Miles Auto Sales, and a special shout out for Steve Lee and Dairy Queen that donated some meals this past week for the boys for middle school, JV, and for varsity. So we want to put a big shout out for those guys for doing that and helping these guys, because it make these long trips and then trying to eat on the way back. So it really helps them and the team. So we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back in a second. All right, welcome back. We're going to break down Bryan County a little bit, Coach. Total yardage for both teams. Bryan County had 253. They only had about 90 after the first half. Bacon County 439, give or take a few yards depending on your stats, and then we had 280 at halftime. I'm going to break that down where we were. I know they had a fumble recovery there towards the end, ran all the way back. The game was really not as close as the score would show right there at the end. It really wasn't that close, but it's hard to score. But
first half started off pretty well. Had a good drive. That's what we wanted to do, and then we had a couple of miscues that we tried to do different things than the way the play is supposed to be ran on offense, and we had to punt, I think, a couple of times. I can't remember. I think the first quarter was 7-0, I believe. Had a couple opportunities to do some good things, but didn't. Second quarter kind of took over and made some big plays, and once you get the momentum, that's with anybody. You want that momentum on your side, especially at home. Drell breaks a run right there, then we get a 2-point conversion. That was huge. Right there. Coach Kiner called the 2-point conversion off the extra point, and we got that. Kind of jumped out on them and just started making some good plays. Jacob picked up a fumble off defense and ran it back maybe 30 or 40 yards. I can't remember that. So we got one of those, scored on defense. That's what we want to do, score one on defense, score one on special teams, and do that throughout the year. But got that defensive touchdown right there. And it just, kind of did some good things right there. Thought we could get one more touchdown right there before the half, but it opened up an opportunity for Glenn Dobbins to kick a field goal, which I thought was good, especially for his confidence, and he nailed it. Right there. I think there was 6 seconds on the clock. I think it was third down. And Coach Kiner kind took me over right there. I really wanted to run one more play to get it in the end zone, and but we wanted to be safe right there just to get it done, and went ahead and nailed it. Didn't want anything to happen and squash an opportunity to score right there. So gonna give Glenn an opportunity to do that, and he nailed it. So I think the score ended 31-0 halftime.
Right.
We came out a little late, and I'll put that one on me. There was a lot of stuff that went on at halftime, and we had it too cool in there, and we needed to move outside a little bit. So we got late coming back out, and I had to talk to a couple of people at halftime. Time got over on us a little bit, so that won't happen anymore, and we didn't get as much warm-up time. One thing that we have to learn, and we kind of been playing a little bit better in the second half instead of the first, and we came out and I thought we were playing soft. I thought we were kind of lazy coming into it, just to be honest with you. Offensively, defensively, right there, and we didn't have any fire about us coming out right there. They break a run down the sideline. I think that's the third quarter, and score one. And then we're getting to the fourth quarter right there, and put Dawson Jewell in. Dawson led a drive down there close, I think inside the 10-yard line. And then we took a snap and hit off his hands. It was a little bit wide, and it hit off his hands, and we couldn't recover, and them suckers took it back. And the score's 37 or 38. I can't even remember. And he takes it back right there, and they grab a little bit of momentum right there, trying to fight back. And like I said, when you start taking kids out right there, we lost Aubrey for the game. We'd already lost Jacob. We'd already lost Payson. My whole thinking is we got to survive the year. Okay, we need to survive the game. Let's get some of these guys out that we can. Hopefully we can stick this one in, and then when that fumble happened, it just, it kind of snowballed right there a little bit. But we would love to put people away. That's what we want to do. But you got to understand is we can't go as fast and do that when I got people going both ways every play, like Drell, like Anthony Florence, like Wesley Cothran, and some of those offensive linemen are the same way. But, we had to slow it down a little bit. I still thought that we could mash them down the field and do that and run the clock a little bit. I hate doing it because I always tell everybody I'm ADD. I can't stand going slow on anything right there. Let's speed it up and let's go. But we definitely had to do that, I thought, for health reasons. And that's why I kind of took Drell out kind of early right there to get him out of that situation. But, he ended up scoring another one right there. Definitely, you got to understand, too, this is Coach Matt Wilson coaches for us. His dad is the head coach at Bryan County. And you got a 31-0 lead at halftime. And, one thing I thought about before we ever played, I said, if we ever get to that point, I don't ever want to embarrass any kids or coaches from another team. I don't want that done to me. I've had it done before. I don't want it done to anybody else, especially a good man like that. We had that kind of lead, and I didn't feel bad about the first score, even though we blew an assignment, but definitely don't want to run it up on the man. Mm-hmm. And, it's 37-22. We're up by 15. And then it gets, and, when they cut it and they got to 22, I said, we may have to run another one and get it to the end zone. So we did throw it up right there to score. I just wanted a little cushion right there. It was right there at the minute. So it does kind of look bad, but definitely did, don't want to give the ball back to them and let them cut it again, then get an onside kick like we did at Pierce.
Yeah,
and then get it down.
We didn't want that.
No, we didn't want it. We want to end on a good, want to end up on a good note. So, definitely. But those kids being hurt definitely hurt us a little bit.
Well, he had the option for the running clock in the second half. He chose not to do that. Mm-hmm. Right. Or did he not want to do that?
It was never relayed to me.
Okay.
Never relayed to me.
I know he never did go with that. So
right.
Yeah. Defensively, we still, to me, we're making a lot of arm tackling. We're not getting folks down. I know that kid was pretty good, and he got slipped around, but we had a lot of losses there that we let turn into a positive game because we're just doing some arm tackling. Is that something that?
Yeah, that's something we work on every day. That's getting different people in the ball game. We're playing a lot of kids right there. I'm trying to get a lot of people in there to to get some of that, so just get them Friday night experience, especially when we get to playoff time right there, and we're going to have, we're getting kids hurt left and right every week. Somebody's going to have to step in for those guys, whether it be a freshman. Kayvon Brown's done a good job stepping in right there. Want to mention him as a freshman, and he had to play a lot of offense right there in the second half for us on the Horsemen, and played some defense too. He's got a big heart, love him to death, works hard in the weight room, practices hard every day. But definitely have to get some of those. So some of that is Payson was out. I think that was first or second quarter. I can't remember, first quarter when that happened to him. So that takes our Y out. Tron had to move there. So he also plays the dog on defense. So now you're putting somebody totally different on defense at dog that hadn't had as much work during the week. Mm-hmm. So when you see that, that's where the first touchdown came from, was that. And it was just replacement type things right there. Somebody doesn't get as many reps right there. So, definitely have to do that. Like I said, I think most of it's second half. Lazy's probably not the right word to say, but just relaxed is probably a good word.
Well, now, positive, I saw he's working on his time and what. Jay Jackson's been coming off the ball, exploding off the ball on defense and getting back behind it just about. Not every play, but a lot of it. I'm seeing a lot more, and they're calling his name a lot more from the press box too.
I yelled out there one time. I said, somebody's got to make a play, and Jay pointed at me and said, I got you. And I'll be danged if he don't get a sack the next play. So I told him, I got you a biscuit, hash browns, and a drink Monday morning. And then we went to the SAT Saturday, and we got him something at Burger King. He wanted that instead, so we got him something for that. So anytime you point to the sideline and say, I got you, and he goes and makes a play. But Jay's playing fast. He's playing good. He's got a lot of confidence right now. If I'm an opposing offensive coach, we got to take out 56. You got to block that sucker. So chain crew was over there saying that their coach was saying, Coach, we can't block him. So that's a tremendous compliment, especially coming from somebody like Mark Wilson over there as the head coach, and he's been around a while, so he knows. So I thought that was quite a compliment for Jay.
Okay, so we'll take a quick break again, but I mentioned to you, said something about SAT. You took, 14 or 15?
And we had a couple that forgot their IDs, but we'll get them in the next time. We just loaded up the bus, and I did it this time. Went to Appleton County, and it was easy for them to get in right there, and not that far away, so that's good too. So just trying to get these kids college ready and get them used to taking the ACT or the SAT. They took the SAT this Saturday, and just took them to get something to eat afterwards. It's a camaraderie thing with me and the guys right there, and they got to take that, and and got back home, I guess around 2:30. So, but they were locked up in that lunchroom at Appleton County High School for at least 4 hours.
And before we I want to make a quick shout out again for our JV Thursday and the job they did down there in Charles County.
Yeah, and we hadn't talked about this too, but we want to tell Andrew Bloodworth and Callie how much we love them. We appreciate y'all very much, and our thoughts are with you and your family. But the JV, took it in their hearts to basically dedicate that game. Did Friday night's game for Andrew and Callie too. But JV was down 28-14 with a little under 3 minutes to go, and scored 2 quick touchdowns to tie it, and then got the ball back with some odd seconds back, and scored with I think 1 second left, threw a touchdown pass, and won. So they won 36-28 over Charlton County. Thought it was a big win. It was 14-0 one time Charlton, then it was 28-14 Charlton, and then our kids came back. And I think it just shows you a little bit about their character. We talk about character all the time and who's going to quit, who's going to do that. So definitely thumbs up for our JV. I think they're 2-1 on the year. Got a game with Appleton this week.
Well, you've been preaching family the whole time since you've been here, and I've seen a little bit more of that in the locker room and on the sidelines and stuff. You're just starting to see a little bit more of that. Now they're chanting Andrew on the sidelines all day. It's just starting to see that, and it's good to see. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, Coach, this Friday night is Jeff Davis. That's about all I have to say about it. It's Jeff Davis. It's a region game. It's for a playoff spot. It's Friday night. It's October. It just don't get any better than this. I know this week in particular we got a day off Friday. The kids do. They don't have to come in Friday. How does that play into your scheme of things? Because I know most coaches don't like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I never did like it. It throws off your routine. And some people say, well, they get more rest. And, you know, it just throws off your routine. Right. So it's a little bit different. We'll bring them in early. We'll watch film. We'll let them lay around here. But they need to be at school. We're not going to bring them in right before game time and stuff like that. But it is a big game with Jeff Davis. Vastly improved from what I hear. They look like they're well coached. They've got some guys, you know, on the hoof and watching them on film. If you compare them to us, you would think we have more athletes. What I see is a disciplined group of Jeff Davis kids, offensively and defensively. I really do. They fly to the football on defense. Probably the smallest kid on their defense, number one, is the first one that I noticed. Everybody's talking about a linebacker that they got. I see this guy's outside linebacker. Number one's a shorter kid, and he just comes after it. Doesn't ever quit. That's what I notice. I notice hustle and stuff like that. So that's one of the ones that I think that we'll have to go after to make sure that we block. I'm not talking about going after to hurt a kid. I'm talking about just going after to make sure that he's taken care of and stuff like that so he doesn't make any plays. But he's one of their key guys defensively. Offensively, basing out of the wing tee, a lot of buck sweep, trap, belly G, and I know some of y'all don't know what that is, but just your base wing tee coming at you, a lot of misdirection, jet sweep, kind of like what we do out of the gun. But, you know, they don't throw it that often because they hadn't had to. But when they've thrown it, they've completed it. I think probably in the past 2 or 3 games, they've thrown 6 passes and probably at least completed 4 of them. So that's what you can't do, fall asleep on the run or on the play action and then throw something over on top of you. We can't do that. We got to play discipline on defense and special teams right there. But offensively, we just got to keep doing what we've done the past 2 weeks and just do what we do and get after people's behind. And they're definitely going to come after us. I do think that they're pretty good. It's kind of a scary team watching them on film. They're just aggressive. I didn't think they were going to be that aggressive, but it's, you know, all the compliments to Coach Metz and his staff. You know, Brant Smith's over there. Hadn't met Brant yet. That's Miss Trudy Smith up here that teaches with us, husband. He's offensive coordinator, does a great job, came from Elbert. And, you know, I coached against him, and his team beat us in the playoffs in the second round in 2011. He did a good job then, too. I'm seeing some of the same stuff. So, like I said, he does a great job, so compliments to him, too. But to me, they're not bad at all. But we need to do what we do and just go after their behind.
Defensively, they're what did you say? They're
4-4, yeah. Now they showed against McIntosh County Academy, who basically does the same formations as we do. I wouldn't say the same routes, but basically some of the same stuff that we do. And they showed a 3-4. It's totally different. So we practiced against a 3-4 today. Next couple of days we'll practice against a 4-4. You know, we rushed for 300 yards this Friday. There was 43 carries for 300 and something yards. They may have to change it up to a 4-4. I don't know what they're going to do, but we feel confident that we can, if we can get our speed going. You know, Aubrey came back to practice today too. I didn't mention that, but Aubrey was fine today at practice. So if we can get that speed back up and roll and get fast, I definitely think that we'll be fine. We just got to, play disciplined football defensively, not jump off sides, and not move on offense. That's killing me. We got momentum, and then one of the linemen moves, or one of the receivers moves. That's killing me. We up down them, we run them, we talk to them nice, we pat them on the helmet right there. We've done everything to do that. We're doing freeze calls all the time to just try to get our kids right. And I think it's sometimes the speed gets them, and they hear something and they jump, and just trying to come off the ball. But we'll get better at that. We've already improved on that, but we'll continue to knock that out. Before I forget about this Wednesday, our Lady Raider softball team will play here at home against Early County at 5 o'clock,
And then after that game, 20 or 30 minutes, probably about 7 o'clock, start the second game. But come out for that too. But
Good luck to them.
this Friday too, Jeff Davis. First, how many fans that come in? We got a case of these bells right here. I know Coach don't like them too well. I'm not going to say it for any reasons, but if you watched the Auburn game this weekend, they were used a lot. But, so they seem to work. So we're going to use these Friday night at the football game. We got a case of them, so those.
I'll have my headphones on, so I won't hear that crap.
They work pretty good. But anyway, the first fans that come in, we'll have a case of these we're going to give out. We need to show up in full force Friday night and back these kids up. It's a big game for them. It's also senior night at the game before. It's before here we're doing halftime.
No, we're doing it before. I think it'll start at 7 o'clock right there. But here's one thing that I noticed missing. You talking about fans backing us up. I didn't hear our student section Friday. I don't know if you guys were there, but y'all don't know what a difference you made. You made a difference in Pierce. You made a difference in every game that you've been to. We need y'all right behind us. We like it. I like it. Having it there, and I just like the student section to be there, but I didn't notice them Friday. I don't even know if they were there. No signs, no nothing. So you better get your tails there. They're supporters. We appreciate all that y'all do and coming to support us. All the noise that you can get, you can ring these dang things all you want to. I won't hear it anyway. So please come.
The challenge is out, though. We want to be out there and loud and proud Friday night and give these kids and the coaches as much support as we can give to them. Coach, any closing comments? Anything you want to add? I mean, I know it was a good football weekend. Georgia won despite the injuries and all the other stuff going on. Well, I mean, Auburn didn't win. So.
Yeah. No matter what, War Eagle, go Raiders. We're going to try to put a show on for you Friday. I don't know. Did anybody in the crowd have a question? Did anybody have?
Yeah, this is Brent Johnson from BCTV. Coach, what's your thoughts on the fact that Mississippi State was not in the top 25 about 4 weeks ago, but now they're suddenly number one in the country after defeating the number two team, Auburn, I believe? And also, could you comment on the fact that, are there any inside news to the fact that if Gurley is released from the University of Georgia, what's the chances of him playing for Auburn next year?
Okay,
Cruz's already talked to us.
First question right there. Number one, when you beat good competition, you automatically get slung to the front. So Mississippi State should be number one. I'm speaking right now. Mississippi State should be number one. I'm going to go ahead and tell you Dak Prescott should probably be the Heisman Trophy winner as of right now. But, we talk about other teams such as Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia has one loss, and I can't remember who that team is because they're not even in the top 25. So when these questions keep being thrown at me right here, at least Auburn gets beat by somebody that was number 3 at the time, not by somebody that's not in the top 25. It's one of those Carolina teams. They don't even matter. But just want to throw that in. And if Todd Gurley does leave the University of Georgia, Auburn will take him the next day. We have an awesome rehab program at Auburn University. So come on, Todd Gurley, we'll take you, big dog.
I can't hear anymore. It's time to cut this out. No, it's all in fun, Coach. Again, good luck Friday night.
Thank you.
We're going to be there. All of us will be there with our bells on. But anyway, we'll see you next week, the same time, hopefully with some good news.
Go Raiders.